God blesses those who patiently endure testing and temptation. After, it's the word after for me.
It's the word after.
Afterwards, after the patiently enduring, after the patiently enduring the testing, they will receive the crown of life that God has promised to those who love him. And remember, when you are being tempted, do not say, God is tempting me. God is never tempted to do wrong. I have to put myself on that. God is never tempted to do wrong, and he never tempts anyone else. Temptation comes from our own desires, which entices us and drags us away. These desires give birth to sinful actions, and when sin is allowed to grow, it gives birth to death. There was a Bible study that I'm doing right now. I think it's called like Falling in Love with God Again. And
Tell me the verse again real quick. James
chapter 1, verses 12 through 15.
Okay, sorry, go ahead.
No, you're good. There's a Bible study plan that I'm reading right now. It's like called Falling in Love with the Lord Again. And she said, be intentional about killing sin, or it will be intentional about killing you.
Ooh, that's good.
That don't make you want to strap your boots up and be like, what's good? Like,
Yes.
I was like, what? I read that like 10 times. Because yes, if you don't wake up intentional with a plan, because then it goes along with that verse, like, we do not wrestle against flesh and blood. Like, this is spiritual warfare. What is your plan when you wake up out of bed about what's going on in the spiritual realm? Like, what is your plan? If you're just waking up, letting life happen to you, it's going to beat your and does. And we just be letting it. Lord, I just don't know what to do.
Listen, I made a YouTube video about this not that long ago. One of my I got a word for y'all today. It was titled like, how do you fight, or do you know how to fight? Because that was a big one for me. I never knew how to fight spiritually, and I think a lot of us don't. We know how to fight in the physical, like we know how to square up, you know what I'm saying, but we don't know how to fight spiritually. And then we wonder why we're so exhausted, or we feel so beaten up all the time. It's because the enemy is tearing you apart. Your sin, your flesh is tearing you to shreds because you don't know how to fight against it. Do you have a plan set into place? Do you have a routine? Let's just stick there. Do you have a routine set up for you to succeed, for you to fight against all the attacks that you're receiving every single day? The majority of us do not. And that's why I really believe I've been successful in the last year and a half, because my routine is so strategically set up to fight against every single attack coming my way. You're fighting with me with laziness. You can't do that because I'm up at 3 o'clock in the morning. What you talking about lazy? You know what I'm saying? Like depression. Depression is a huge one that is used against me all the time. I get very bad depression. My routine it has no room for depression. There's no room for depression in my routine. It can't stay around long because I'm so committed to the routine. I say all that to say, a lot of us, we just don't understand how to fight spiritually. We have plans how to fight physically, right? Like we know how to fight in the physical, but we don't know or even realize that we need a plan in motion to fight in the spirit, which is crazy.
You know what's even crazier, like to think about it, like with you talking about your routine. If there's anybody that needs help with the routine, Eric Thomas, he has I always want to say sermon, not a sermon. It's a motivational speech called Success Routine. That routine is so good. When you have kids, or like, even as a child, I know my mama at least would always be like, you got too much free time. We need you to have some curricular activities, because if you have too much free time, maybe you're most likely doing something you're not supposed to be doing. You're in trouble. Yeah. That is why we need a routine, because we need to have a structured routine, a structured day, so that the devil don't got time to slip and slide nowhere. And that is why I was sitting up here allowing this man, we're not talking about God right now, it's talking about the dude that I'm talking to, right? That's why I was sitting up here so fixated on him and upset about him, because I wasn't in my own routine. And so now I'm being tormented with all of these other things that I struggle with. When I know God dang well, Kenzie, if you was in your routine, if you was getting up at 4 a.m, going to the gym, talking to your father, doing what you know you love to do, going to work, coming home, eating dinner, child, it's time to go to bed by 7, 8 o'clock. There is no room for the devil, because like Eric Thomas said, by then I'm tired. Devil, try again tomorrow. There was nowhere for the devil to mess with me. I woke up and I started it with the Lord. I went through my day. I had to do my job. I don't got time to be thinking about nothing else. I ended the day, baby. I am tired. I read my Bible and I'm out. Yeah. A routine matters. When you have, as adults, that's crazy that was taught to us as kids, but it applies to us being adults as well. If we have too much free time on our hands, that is no good. And like
Yeah.
you said, I struggle with depression too. So I know for me, for real, if I have free time on my hands, what am I doing with it? Laying in the dark, overthinking, over contemplating, thinking my life is horrible, thinking about why that man in 2010 didn't text me back and why we not married. Like my mind goes. And
Yeah.
it's like, baby, I need you to go to the gym. I need you to
Yep.
do something. I need you to be proactive. Something's got to give because this is not it.
Yeah.
Too much free time.
I had so much free time all the time because I didn't know how to spend my alone time. I think that was a big learning lesson for me, or something that I really had to learn, is how do you spend time alone? Like when you're alone, are you just sitting there scrolling through the phone? Like, do you ever just sit down by yourself? I feel like because I didn't know how to spend time alone, all I had was free time. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm free all the time. Every time I was by myself, I didn't know what the heck to do. When I say free time now, like I don't really have a lot of free time, honestly, because my schedule is not even that it's so tight, not even that I'm always busy. But when I tell people I'm like, "Oh, I can't tonight," like I'm busy, a lot of times, oftentimes, I mean, I'm in my bonnet in the bed chilling with God and the word. Like I'm not busy as in like I'm always this is go 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 go. But I prioritize time for myself, and I prioritize time to be alone to even hear God. And I think that because a lot of us don't do that, we don't know how to spend our free time. And then we wonder why we keep being attacked, or not even being attacked, to be real. A lot of us are attacking our own selves. Like you in your own head. The enemy ain't even touched you in years. It's you. Like the enemy don't even need to do much. Yeah. You destroying
Recycling the
yourself.
issue. The devil is literally down there laughing at us, bro, because we're sitting up here like the devil is working. He's like, baby, I ain't touched you in years. You are sitting up here hurting your own self. I don't even have to do nothing. I don't got to send my man to do nothing to you because you so stuck up in your own self, wanting
Yeah.
to sit there.
Like you said, talking about the relation or what the man did to you in 2010. Like, man, Satan sent that attack 10 years
Business.
ago. You still tripping about that heartbreak from 20 years ago, and then you sitting there crying about how the enemy's so bad to you. He sent that attack so long ago, but you still focused on it.
What am I doing? And it's even crazier because we're talking about like learning how to sit still and hear from the Lord, right? I was one of those people that's like, I don't understand how you hear from the Lord. I was one of those people that was like, I don't understand how we even can believe in a God that we don't see, right? But then it's like the same concept of we know that we need oxygen to breathe. Can you see oxygen? No. So like everything ain't gonna make sense, baby. But you just gotta make it do what it do. We had to come from somewhere, right? And so I
Yeah.
think one of the most beautiful moments where I learned so much about myself was literally just sitting in silence and closing my eyes. And I know for me, I didn't necessarily like sitting in silence because my thoughts would still just go, right? So I started playing soaking music. And for those that don't know what soaking music is, it's kind of like a form of meditation, but more so Christian based, Christian focused. It allows you to soak with Jesus. No words, just good vibes and music. And you just sit. You don't say nothing. If the least, I'll invite God in. Like, God, I invite you into my mind and I invite you in to take over. And I'll just sit there for like, I'll say 10 minutes. Baby, when I tell you, I'll look up, it's been an hour
Yeah.
because it was so peaceful. Like,
Yeah.
that's how you hear from God. I feel like so many people, we say our prayers and like, all right, good night.
Yeah.
It's like, did you ever sit there for a little bit to see what he had to say back?
Yeah, you didn't listen. It was one-sided. You just yip yap. And then you say you don't hear from God or God's not speaking. No, you're not listening. You're too busy talking.
What kind of phone call was that? It's like you calling me, telling me all your problems. All right,
Literally.
bye. And then be like, Kenzie never gives me advice. He's got the phone.
No, that's crazy because it really be like that, bro.
You
We be
hung up
praying
the
like we call
phone.
God and we're like, okay, God, this is how I feel and this is what I need. And I ask you for this and a little bit of thank you for this, but I really just ask you for this and I ask you for this. And then we go to sleep.
You give them 5 minutes of silence because I'm telling
Any
y'all,
time during the day.
that's how those revelations be happening for me. Like even coming home, like I've stopped. I don't feel like I'm one to say like secular music is bad. I don't personally feel like that's my conviction, right? However, I have seen a lot less secular music in my playlist. Anyway, that's neither here nor there. I used to be one that at the time I was going to work, coming home from work, that secular music was bumping. But baby, now I play my soaking music and I'm like, God wants to talk to me before I go into this place. God wants to talk to me on my way home from this place. What is it that he wants to say? And sometimes I'll just play that music and I won't say nothing. The whole drive home will be in silence. And that's what I'm telling you. I was coming home and he said entitlement. I'm like, what does it mean? Like, he just give me pieces like, what do you want me to know?
What do you mean?
I'm telling you. And it's crazy because like when you become so in tune with God, y'all, like it'll be scary. Kind of like
Yeah.
I remember when I first came like in touch, I thought I was tripping. And I think
Mm.
I was talking to you about it, Chelsea. Like when I started feeling it for real, y'all, I swore I was psychotic. I was like, whoa. Because the voice gets louder as you start clearing stuff out. Like
Yeah.
sometimes people say they can't hear him. Well, it's because you're filled with so many other things. And that was
You're
just wild to me.
distracted.
You serve God
I
from
love the
God.
analogy. I forget who gave it first, but I see it all the time where they say like the enemy is a burglar. Like he will come into your house. Like you know he's there. He'll break through the windows, whatever. But God is a gentleman. He'll just knock at the door. You know, he's knocking. And the crazy part is when you think about what goes on in your household on a daily basis, and then you wonder why you can't hear that little knock at the door. Like you got dinner cooking, so you hear that. Your kids are screaming in the background. You got your music playing in your ear. You're arguing with your man through text. Like you got so much going on in your household, not to mention what's really going on in your mind. And then you think that God is not wanting you, or God doesn't love you, or you don't hear from God, or da da da. God has literally been just tip tapping at the door your entire life. You just cannot hear him. You're distracted. You're distracted. If you open your eyes and pay attention, if you clear out some of this outside noise, I mean, I promise you will hear him standing right there, ready
Bro. Just waiting the whole time.
the whole time.
That's crazy because that's gonna make me cry again. Because that live that you watched when I was at church, that came from that YouTube video that I ended up making when she was hugging me and you're like, "Girl, I'm boohoo crying with you."
Yeah.
That's what made me start crying because at the time I just lost it. Is was because she was saying he was there the
Mm,
whole time. And I've been through deliverance, y'all, and that's basically like getting to the root of why you are the why, not why you are the why you are the way you are. Like, what is it, the trauma that
mm,
happened in your life that caused all of these things to happen, right? And that was so big for me about he was there the whole time because when you're in deliverance, they'll ask you, what was a big trauma part in your life? Okay, put yourself back there, envision it. Where was God? And it's
mm.
not like a God was in the corner. Oh, should I tell my story? That was kind of good. Anyway, I'm not gonna say all that. But anyway, in my story, I was like, God was shielding me from that hurt because I don't feel like I have that, but it's still a trauma moment that I have that I feel like changed everything. But I
Mm,
don't have any necessarily bad experience from it other than I was exposed to it. So
mm.
I saw that God was there because he shielded me from receiving any of all of that could have came with it.
Right.
And it's crazy because we just be swearing God is not there, but if you really think about it, you could have ended up a lot worse if he truly wasn't there.
I mean, really, how many things did God really shield you from, or hide you from, or protect you from? But you're so focused on the little bit of negative vibes that did happen that you don't realize God saved your life on multiple occasions, many, every day. Every day, God keeps you. God has kept you the entire time. If you're still here, God kept you the entire way. Like God protected you through everything. But you be crying over a freaking flat tire, or you be crying over a missed bill, like the stupid stuff, the worldly stuff, like not realizing how much God has really done for us. There's so much, bro. What? I was crying about that at the park. I think it was this morning. It's been a long day, but crying about this at the park because I go to the same park, right? When I started my spiritual journey, and I moved out of the house and all these things, I've needed to find a safe space. So I just picked a random park and I just be chilling in my car. And I've been there almost like, oh my gosh, so many times a week throughout the past year and a half, through every single season. I mean, I've been sweating there, freezing there. It's been snowing. It's been hot. You know, like every season I've been right there in the car. And I was thinking about it today. I'm like, God's been here the entire time. There ain't been not one single time that I've been at this park where I did not feel God's presence. And it's crazy when you think about it like that, because there's been so many times I go to the park and I'm mad at God, or I'm questioning God, I'm frustrated, and God's still like, okay, we here. Like, let's find a solution. Let's talk about this. Like, God has never been like, okay, well, you're mad at me, so I'm going to ignore you. You know what I'm saying? Like, ooh. And that's why, to bring it back to the blocking, situation. That's why I say that, because we are supposed to be examples of Christ in people's lives. Why are you blocking that individual because he didn't meet your standards? Maybe his standards are for somebody else. He's going to meet somebody else's standards. So don't block him and make him question his character or make him question his, value because he didn't meet your needs, because that's somebody else's leader. That's a man. That's a man of God. That's somebody else's leader. Like, don't treat him like trash because he didn't meet your needs. God never treated you like that. There's never been a time you ran to God and he wasn't there. So why are we just blocking people, ghosting people, treating people like trash? That's crazy.
You reminded me of when I did that forgiveness journaling prompt, because how the Lord dealt with me when you said God doesn't treat you like that. So there was a time when I was talking to one of my exes, and basically, long story short, he helped me realize, like, you haven't truly forgiven me. And I was like, yes, I have. Yes, I have. But then the Lord really came to me and was like, he's actually right. Like, yes, this man has done a lot to me in the past. Anyway, done a lot to me in the past, but I realized that you've forgiven him with your mouth, but you haven't forgiven him with your heart, because if you did, you would not treat him like that. But then I also had to think, like, if we're supposed to be like Christ, we're supposed to forgive like Christ. Forgive how many times they say a day in the Bible?
77 times 7 or something.
Ooh, that's a lot. They say we're supposed to forgive a lot, y'all. And
Yeah.
I realize you don't really know how to forgive. You say that you forgive, but your heart is still hardened, right? And I realized that because if you truly forgave, you wouldn't be acting and treating him this way. And I was like, God doesn't do you like that. Like, to forgive this man, you act as if he got to prove himself to you. He's got to check off this list of things. He's got to be committed for a year without anything from me, and then he'll be forgiven.
Yeah.
I said, why do you treat him like that? Because God don't do you like that. When you mess up, does he make you stand in line and review what you've done to see if you deserve to get back into his grace? No. So why are you treating his son like that? Like, I know as much as we be upset with these men, as much as we hate, I know hate is a strong word, so I say hate, strongly dislike these men, I'll be really having to tell myself, like, Mackenzie, that's his son too.
Ooh.
It'd be different when you look at it from that standpoint. That is his son.
Yeah.
Why are you treating him that way? Do you think your father is happy with that? Think about how, if you had kids, how you would feel.
Yeah.
If your baby came home and said X, Y, and Z about somebody, you ready to go off.
Yeah.
So just think, we sit up here doing all these things to these men because we think, I'm so upset, I hate them, they deserve it. Baby, that's his son.
Yeah. Well, and I never had grace. I mean, I could speak a lot about what you said, especially forgiveness, but I didn't have grace for a man ever. It's like he did one thing and I'm out. I'm out the door, not realizing that he's on a journey of his own. We're all on spiritual journeys. Whether you stepped into it or not is, that's up to you, but we're all on a spiritual journey. So if he's on a journey of his own, why am I not understanding that I'm not fighting him? We're not fighting flesh and blood. You know what I'm saying? So what you're doing has more to say about the season of life that you're in than it has to say about who you actually are or who you are in my life, So why do I get so mad at his actions all the time instead of just seeing that as, okay, you're in this season, I'm not in that season. Therefore, we are not compatible in this season. I got a blast. You know what I'm saying? Respectfully, but viewing it as that instead of viewing everything to be his character. Because when it's you, when you're the one that makes a mistake, now all of a sudden it's like, oh, I was going through something. Oh, I was really hurt. Oh, I had a lot going on. Like, you got all these reasons as to why you acted how you did because of the season that you're in. But when he does something wrong, it's him. He's a jerk. He's a horrible person. He don't deserve love. He's X, Y, and Z. Like, what? Not saying that we should make excuses for him. We should not make excuses, but just viewing it as, do I want to continue this experience with him? Yes or no? Like, I'm not going to sit here and down talk you and try to force you to be somebody that you're not. They say it all the time. Like, our job is not to get them to love us how we want to be loved. Our job is to let them be them and let us be us and see how it is that they love and decide if that's something we want to spend the rest of our life with or not. Decide if that's something that we want in our space or not. And we don't do that. We try to force them to act how we want them to act. Why? If that ain't him, it just ain't him.
Jesus. I think it just comes with that fear of feeling like there's nothing better out there. So I'd rather mold you into what I need you to be.
Crazy.
And it's crazy because it's like, oh, I don't even know how to really put that into words for real. But it's like we be saying we trust God again with our mouth, but does our heart speak that? Because if it did, we would easily walk away from these situations.
Mm-hmm.
Like if we trusted God the way that we said we did, we would easily walk away because I know my daddy got something better. Like I always say in my vlogs, like I'm trying to learn how to trust God so hard, like we trust our earthly parents, like if they're actually present, you know. Like
Yeah.
if my daddy told me we was going to get ice cream, we going to get ice cream. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it.
Mm-hmm.
He going to get me some ice cream. I'm
Mm-hmm.
trying to get back to that childlike trust in my father.
Yeah.
Like if
Well, I feel like
something,
in
like
order
you
to do
said,
that, you have to go to him. Like we
yeah.
don't go to him. We never go to him and ask him for discernment. You know what I'm saying? Like, God, give me the discernment to discern if this is a situation I need to be in or not. Do you want me to be in this situation? Like, what is this situation supposed to be in my life? We say we submit everything to God, but then we sit there and make our own decisions. When somebody does something foul to us, we're like, oh no, we're good. Like, I don't want to be in their space. Did you bring that to God? Did you ask for discernment in that moment to discern if that person is really going through something? If they went and came to you with ill intentions, or is that their character? Like, when did you bring it to God? But then you leave the relationship. Like you're making your own decisions. You're only half submitting everything over. Like fully submitting everything over is like when this relationship goes sideways, I'm going to sit down with God and I'm going to ask him for discernment. I'm not just going to up and say anything. I'm not going to up and yell at him, scream at him, break up with him. I'm not doing anything without God's green light. That's submitting, not doing whatever you want to do and only submitting over the things that you think you need to submit over. That's not what it is.
It's crazy because you said in the moment. Have you ever thought about like us submitting in our time versus when we're supposed to submit like in that moment?
Mm-hmm.
Like for example, like so many situations where I know like if, for example, when I'm at work and I'm frustrated about something, I want to become the person that's like, I'm gonna go to the bathroom and I'm gonna pray.
Ooh,
But
yeah.
instead of submitting in that moment, I'll submit in my own time and I may wait till I get home. But how big of an outcome could that have been? Like, how different could that outcome have been? You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
Because it's like you could have nipped it in the butt immediately, kind of like when you're in physical relationships and they say, if you had a problem, you should have
Mhm.
said something then because now you allowed it to carry over and now it's bigger than what it should have been.
Right.
And I feel like that can apply with God too. Like if you had an issue, you should have brought it to me then, but you didn't. You allowed it to fester. You allowed it to get bigger. You allowed it to bubble and
Mhm.
boil up. To now we got this huge explosion we got to deal with. I'm
Yeah.
trying to become that Mackenzie where it's like, I just need to go to the bathroom. I'm just about to say a quick prayer because my mind ain't right now.
Yeah.
Ugh.
And get so close to God. I feel like me now in this moment, I feel like I've grown so much in my faith. I don't have to walk away. Now, if we're in like a controversial, like a tough situation where we're like yelling or something, then that's a different, I'm going to change the environment. You know what I'm saying? But there's been multiple times where I'm at dinner or I'm somewhere and I'm just literally talking to God in my head. I'm like, okay, I need discernment for this because I'm not really understanding. But I don't know. I feel like that's like, it's like a creepy thing in the moment because it's like I can hear him. I can literally hear him speaking to me. But I do think that it started with me submitting to the process, as in like, okay, practice. Like, why are we not willing to practice anything when it comes to God? Like, we think, oh, if we don't get it right the first time, we're just failures. Like, oh, I'm not meant to be a Christian. Like, what the heck are you talking about? Everything takes practice. You have to practice discernment, right? Like, you have to practice getting up and walking away. You have to practice prioritizing God. You have to practice choosing God in the moment. Like, you're a human being. You've been through a lot of stuff. It takes practice. You have to literally retrain your whole way of thinking. At least I had to.
You really do. And it's beautiful to see, like, even though we're on the live at the same time, I feel like your people don't necessarily know my story, y'all.
Hmm.
Me and Chelsea, we may seem very similar, but we're all, I don't want to say we're very different, but we're in different seasons. Like, I'm trying to get, in my opinion, I'm trying to get to where Chelsea at, okay? Because, like, I'm still, girl, y'all, listen, I don't even think we told them. Chelsea's people, my people, I don't even think we told y'all for real how this is even cool that it came about and how God is such a kind God, right? And so I started TikTok last year. I was a fan of Chelsea. I was like, oh my God, this girl is amazing. She be having this big sister talk. She says all these beautiful things. I'm like, I freaking love her. Follow. I like everything she said. And then once I started becoming obedient to what the Lord told me to post, mind you, I ain't never wanted to be on no internet having no Christian conversations. Not saying there's nothing wrong with it, but there's a certain type of weight that comes with being on the internet talking about you're a Christian. That was never what I was planning to do. I was trying to come and talk about some cute weight loss and how to get your booty right. I'm just going to be honest, like in the gym and do all these things. And I feel like once the Lord told me to start being obedient to do what he called me to do, Chelsea was in my DMs. Like, I'm trying to be your friend. We are like, what's up?
Yep.
Huh?
Yep. I seen a video. Nika sent me a video of Mackenzie's, and literally God told me in that moment, like, oh, you're connected with her. Like, it's quick. You know when you're connected with somebody. You know when you're connected with somebody.
Child, I was a fan of this woman, and the Lord said, yeah, you're going to be working with her too. So, huh? Talk about God is cool.
God is cool.
Let's get on the topic of obedience. Y'all, when I tell y'all, I started a YouTube channel because I simply wanted to document my weight loss journey. And y'all know the Bible verse that says, from the heart, the mouth speaks. The Lord convicted me in that moment and was like, you thought you was going to get on this large platform that can reach millions and not mention my name? Because I naturally found myself just, God is good, God. And I'm like, baby, whoa. I was supposed to just tell y'all what I had for breakfast, lunch, and dinner and how many pounds I lost. And I'm sitting up here talking for hours and hours about how God is so good. And now all of a sudden that is my content and that is what I do. That was never my plan.
Me neither.
Talk about submission. Y'all want to talk about submission? Like crazy stuff this man got me doing.
Yeah.
He had me on YouTube talking about my struggle with porn addiction. Ew. Like, why I gotta tell y'all that? That ain't none of y'all business, bro. I'm getting embarrassed. No, I'm joking. But yes, y'all, like, I was like, Jesus, like, they don't gotta be up in my business, but he's having me realize, like, at the end of the day, I told you to do that. Because there's been so many people that's like, Mackenzie, I'm kind of worried about you putting your business out there. Your business is in the streets. You should kind of tone it in. And I'm like, baby, I wish I could. But when that voice gets so heavy and when you start to hear from God and you know it's him and it's just knocking, that is heavy. And you literally feel like, oh, we not moving until I do what this man told me to do. He said, tell the world about porn addiction. So I guess that...
that's above me. I don't know what to tell you.
It's above me now. I don't know what to tell
me. I'll be like, I don't know why I'm doing what I'm doing either. I'm just doing it because God told me to. So if you got a problem with what I'm doing, you got to pray on it. I don't know what to tell you.
Talk to my dad. Like, I'm telling y'all, that is when I really realized I was working on, I don't know if I know exactly what my calling is just yet. However, I do know that I'm walking in it because I'm doing things I don't want to do. Y'all, I talked about in my YouTube video, how hard is it to show up this way when the world has seen you to be this way? Like everyone sees me to be this cookie cutter, picture perfect Mackenzie. She's always happy, always smiling. Yet I'm on YouTube talking about my depression, talking about I'm giving up weed because it's became something that I run to, talking about porn addiction. Jesus, why? And he told me because there's people connected to your yes, and I need people to know that they're not struggling with this alone. Because who else do y'all know that's talking about this?
Yeah.
Who?
That's true. Christmas. I haven't wanted to do most of the stuff, to be honest.
Oh, she's cute. She said, I knew you was real when you started talking about them Skittles.
No, I knew this. Yeah, I knew this. The Skittles are hilarious. If y'all don't follow Mackenzie on YouTube, go follow her on YouTube. Her vlogs, man, I be tuned in like it's FaceTime. I be like, what? No, really? Like just talking back to the screen like that girl can hear me. I mean, she's the one who got me on YouTube. Y'all remember how scared I was to do YouTube? And then I saw Mackenzie's and we started talking and she started talking about YouTube and I'm like, all right, bro, I'll do it. And now I definitely got used to it. But no, I still be tuned into her vlogs and stuff.
I'm telling you, it's hard. It'd be hard really showing up to talk about these things. But like I said, the main reason I ever wanted to even talk about those things is because who you know that's transparent in 2024? I feel like this world and social media is full of highlight reels. Nobody's talking about being depressed at 2 a.m, sitting up here crying, not knowing if they're going to make it till the next morning. Yeah. And that's why I feel like I don't know how we got here. Suicide rates be so dang high because people swear they on their own. People swear they're the only ones in life that's dealing with this. And so, Lord.
people have no hope, because where does hope come from? A lot of our hope, especially as humans in the physical, our hope comes from seeing somebody else make it through. But how can we see somebody else make it through if they were not open about the fact that they were going through it? It's like everybody's hiding their stories as if it's some secret, not realizing that's their superpower. Like, my story is my testimony. What are you talking about? I freely, openly, all the time share my story. It's my testimony. It's giving somebody else hope. If I made it, why the heck can't you? But people don't do that because people are too embarrassed, because everybody's only sharing their highlight reel. So what do I look like talking about what I got going on if she's over there sharing her beautiful marriage and her beautiful children and her beautiful house and her beautiful life and her beautiful thoughts and her beautiful, like, everything over there is sunshine and rainbows according to her IG. So why, like, I'm too embarrassed to show all my flaws, not realizing that she got so many flaws too. They just not sharing it, which makes sense, because like, when people say like people shouldn't just post their highlight reels, that's low key what it's for. Unless you're creating content, you know what I'm saying? Like, unless that's part of your calling. But if your calling is not to be in content creation, why would I feel the need to post all of my struggles online? You know what I'm saying? And that's the part. You cannot compare yourself to anybody else, because your purpose ain't the same as their purpose. That's why they're not opening up about certain things, because they don't have to. You have to, because you're the one being led to do it. You're the one being called to do it. You're called to give people hope. So you have to be honest about your journey.
It's funny that you even say that, because remember the other day I was on the phone with you. I think we were just texting, and I was like, why couldn't I have been one of the easy ones? Like, why couldn't I have been one of the ones that just blew up doing some stupid stuff? Why I gotta be the one that's sitting up here, you calling stuff out that should have stayed in my bedroom? Like, we could have talked about this in private.
Ooh.
I'm sitting up here, it'd be amazing to me the things that I talk about on my YouTube channel. Like, half the things I talk about on my YouTube, my family don't even know.
Yeah, me too.
And I'm just like,
Because if it ain't for your
it's not
family, your family ain't
about
the target
them.
audience.
Literally.
People
And
that need you are there. They're there listening, but your family
like,
don't
there are
need to know
people
that.
connected to your yes. And it's crazy because you never know whose lives you are saving just by being obedient to do what the Lord told you to do. Because like, I never wanted to talk about these things on YouTube, but the amount of DMs that I get, that is like, because of you, I
Oh my
thank
God.
you so much for doing this because now I'm here.
Yeah.
That really is what makes it easier, because I'm like, if I gotta be walking in what the Lord told me to do, because if I wasn't, I wouldn't have all these testimonies in my DMs about you are helping. And I'm
Exactly.
like, I mean, God, if it gotta be somebody, I mean, I've always been an open book, so why not just put it on the internet too?
Mm-hmm. But it is hard. I do feel like that sometimes when I catch. I mean, I share so much of my life, which is crazy to think about, because I really don't share so much of my life. You know, even you and your vlogs and stuff, it's like we share so much, but we have so much going on all the time. Like, God has so much going on in our lives that we really don't share that much. Like, it sounds like we do, but y'all have no idea. Like, everything that I've gone through in the past year, y'all haven't heard a fourth of it. Like, none of it.
And it's crazy too, because it does look like we share a lot, but we really don't. We really don't, because there's still definitely moments where I'm sitting in corners. Like, it's crazy, like, looking at myself from the outside in whenever you do create content and you watch it back, like we be talking about, dang girl, you said that. Like, I'll be looking at my content, like when I'm editing and things, and I'm like, you look like such a beautiful, happy person. And then it's like that night I'm in the corner crying, like, God, why me? And it's like,
Mm.
it's crazy to see the two different things, but then I start understanding, like, God's bringing you into alignment. Like, who you
Mm.
see yourself on camera to be is who you really are. But yes, there are still things that we're struggling with, that we're battling with, that we're healing from.
Yeah.
And I think my YouTube channel gives me hope, because I'm like, one day I'm going to be that Mackenzie 90% of the time. I'm
Mm.
not her right now, but I'm happy that I was able to get a glimpse of who she is, what she looks like.
Yeah.
Bro.
I had I think it was on YouTube or something, but I was stuck on this sermon for like 2 weeks. I talked about it like every day on live, where PMJ was talking about how your gift is not for you. And it was the most, like, oh my gosh, it was the wildest realization, because I struggle with that a lot, because I am very motivating, very inspiring. I say that openly because God wrote my story. I know that it's inspiring. You know, like, I ain't write it. I know that I be inspired reading it back. But my gift is not for me. So sometimes I be sitting behind closed doors wondering why I can't motivate myself the way I can freely motivate everybody else, or why I can't take my own advice the way I can openly give it to everybody else. And he said in the sermon, he's like, apple trees don't eat apples. And I was like, oh my gosh. He said, apple trees don't eat apples. Like the apple trees that the apple or the apples that the apple tree produces are for the passerbyers. You know, like my gift is for everybody else. That's my calling.
Crazy.
But it's not for me. I don't eat that. So my job is to find what fuels me, which is God. So my job is to go to God to give me the strength in order to fulfill my calling, in order to openly speak the way that we do, you know, in order to openly be on these platforms and be open and honest and transparent. We have to bring that to God. Stop trying to eat the apples. It ain't for you.
That is good.
Buki always needs a minute. She be like, hold on.
Y'all, I be processing because I be like, especially as of late with the Lord, just it be heavy.
It do.
In conclusion, I'm not gonna block that man.
I know that's right. I haven't read a lot of these comments. Someone said, I love when people are open about being addicted to a rose, if you know what I mean.
Baby, baby, go watch my YouTube video, Addicted to Porn.
Yeah.
When I tell you, I was so upset with God that morning. It was during Vlogtober, y'all. I woke up, Vlogtober was really just, I wake up, God, what do you want me to talk about today? I woke up, it ain't even 8 o'clock. And he said, talk about your porn addiction. Huh? I said, now I know I ain't hearing you correctly because it's 7 in the morning.
Right.
I know you wouldn't dare. He said porn addiction. And the way God be having my mind going is like, he will block out everything else in my mind to where I don't see anything but porn addiction until I act on it. And I'm like,
Yeah.
I know you freaking lying.
Yeah.
I was mad all day. Cause the nerve of this man. But yeah. If nobody's talking about it, somebody gotta talk about it. That's the devil.
It's for somebody. And sometimes it can be for you too. Like having that realization, you know, it's therapy. Vlogs and stuff be very therapeutic when you're getting it out, when you're understanding your thoughts, you know, you're speaking them in real time. And so you're able to organize them better and understand them better. But obviously for other people too, because that you're sharing your testimony, you're sharing your story, you're sharing your, you know, you're being transparent about things. That's giving people hope, especially when you're speaking about God so openly, because that the thing about God is everybody assumes that if somebody knows God, or even if they want to know God, they have to be picture perfect. Right. You gotta come correct. You gotta come perfect. You know, don't have any flaws, don't have any addictions, don't have any human anything. You know, just be a completely godly, sanctified individual in order for God to accept you. And that's not real. God will change the desires of your heart. I will say that. I don't cuss as much as I used to. I don't desire men the same way as I used to. A lot of things in my life have changed. You know, a lot of my desires have changed, but I didn't go to God just completely pure and holy. I went to God savage. I mean, a man had just left my bed when I dropped down to pray for the first time. What are we talking about? I was not holier than nobody. I was a mess.
You don't go to the hospital if you're perfectly healthy, baby. So Jesus takes any and everybody. Any and everybody. Come on. Like, I'm telling you, like, what is the point of going to the hospital to be like, yeah, I eat really healthy. My heart is good. My body is really in good shape. Okay, good. Go home, man. Why are you here? Why are you here? If you don't need our help, why are you here? So let me tell you something. And that's why I said it's so hard to show up online and call yourself a Christian influencer. And again, I never thought that was going to be my intentions. Never wanted to do it. Not that I was here to love God, because I didn't ever think that I would be in a place to be able to accept people's mouths on the internet. But when I tell you, when the Lord told you to do something, he will give you the grace to do it, because he's giving me the grace to do it and move and not be so bothered by all these comments. But y'all, let me ever slip up and say a cuss word. Y'all should see how them people was attacking me in some of my comments. Oh, but you call yourself a Christian, but you sat up here and cursed. Oh my God, I apologize. I was like, you don't think the Lord knew that on this day, on page 20,000, whatever of my book, oh, she's gonna cuss? He don't let me no more? Like, what? Let's be real.
Yeah.
Like, this is why so many people are out here and scared to try. So many people out here and scared to try to say that they're a Christian or that they're in church and trying to do better. Oh, I have a topic. Okay. Talking about church. Let's talk about the difference between a man of God and a man that goes to church. Ooh. When it comes to dating. Because I have learned they are not the same. A man of God versus a man who goes to church. They are not the same. I used to think they were synonymous.
Oh, they definitely not the same. It's like a person that has read the Bible and then a person that lives by the Bible. Those are two very different individuals.
Where's the fruit?
What you doing?
Where's the fruit? Let me tell you something. Kenzie, Holy Spirit, can I talk? I be having to ask sometimes, y'all, because I be saying stuff like literally in the middle of my YouTube videos. I'll be like, "Ooh, Holy Spirit told me to shut up."
Ooh, yeah, I remember that one. I saw that one.
I'm trying to see who's on her. I can't. Anyway, all I have to say is that I have been exposed to a lot of things that have made me understand there is a huge difference between a man of God and one that goes to church. Such a huge difference as to where I know a pastor. I know a pastor, and I know him in real life, and it is sickening. It makes me look at everything differently because now I'm like, you are preaching to these people, and your heart is sick.
Ooh,
and nobody knows it.
Yeah.
It makes me look at everything different. Like, you're just a dude that goes to church and he just talks. I want a man of God because you can see it in his heart. You can see it how he treats to people, how he talks to people. You can see it in the fruit of their lives.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Going to church for me on my list of standards, wants, going to church is like a bonus. I don't need a man that goes to church. I want a man that goes to church. I don't need a man that goes to church. I need a man that prays. I need a man that has a relationship with God. I need a man that has a roadmap from God himself. If you don't have a roadmap from God himself, what are we doing? You're only going to lead me into the world. Where are you taking me? No.
The hell?
Right, to hell, to more into the world. Literally. Yeah. I don't care that much about church. Just me personally. Not that I don't care. Like I said, I would want a man to go to church because I want my family to go to church, you know, when we have that. But I just want a man that I told them that actually recently when it comes to dating advice. Somebody asked me for dating advice. I was like, I have a person, so I'm not dating at the moment. I haven't dated in a while, but my first question would be, when is the last time you prayed? Like, we don't need to have a full discussion about God, but I don't really care about your favorite color as much as I cared about the last time you prayed. And if you stumble, if you get nervous, that tells me everything that I need to know. Not that I won't continue the date, because God put me here for a reason, so I might be able to learn something from you. This might be a cool experience. But I know in my mind now, this cannot be my person. You're not in the season that I'm in, because who's leading you? If you haven't prayed since last Easter, who's been leading you the past year? Yourself or your mama? It's a no.
A fat no. I was doing this because it reminded me what we've been talking about, dating. We don't see dating anywhere in the Bible. You don't hear the Bible reference boyfriend and girlfriend. Y'all, when I tell y'all this is a season, I don't want to say a season of marriage, but definitely a season of acceleration. Because again, going back to this dude that I'm talking to, I realized I was placing so many standards and expectations on this man. This man got to be taking me out. He got to be taking me on these nice dates. He's got it. And I'm like, who said? Like, who said? Because mind you, he's been to my house a few times and it's been beautiful. Like, nothing sexual, nothing anything. We've truly enjoyed each other's company. We talk about God. We laugh. We watch movies. We truly be kicking it like we as homies, and it is a beautiful thing. And I was like, nope. We can't keep doing that because you need to be taking me out. And I was getting so strongly convicted. Who said? And then I kept finding these videos on TikTok, and it was like, where in the Bible does it reference boyfriend and girlfriend in these continuous datings? You need to be in fellowship. Chelsea, that video I sent you last night where he was like, you don't look for girlfriend and boyfriend. You look for fellowship until God elevates you and calls you higher.
Yeah. And y'all know that had me shook, because so many people have questioned my relationship because I always say, like, I found my person, but I'm single. And they're like, well, if you found your person, then why are you not together? And I'm like, I'm not trying to be funny because I never did my biblical research on it, but I don't think I understand what the rush is to be somebody's girlfriend. For what? If we have gotten to know each other, first of all, why are you committing your life to each other? As in a boyfriend, girlfriend, y'all dang near married, because that's what a boyfriend girlfriend relationship is nowadays. Oh, that's my boyfriend, so now we're gonna move in and we're gonna share bills and we're gonna do X, Y, and Z. Y'all dang near married without the covenant. What? That's what boyfriend and girlfriend really is nowadays. Or you're just getting to know each other, but you're already committing your life to each other. That's crazy. Why don't we just date? Why don't we just experience each other until God gives us the green light? And the second God gives us that green light, whether it's years down the road or whatever, then let's make moves. But until then, what I need to be your girlfriend for? I'm not judging nobody. I just don't think I understand that for my life. What do I need to be somebody's girlfriend for? If God told me that's your person, great. I'm going to experience him in the beautiful journey that it was meant to be. What am I rushing to be a girlfriend for?
It's just wild.
That's a worldly thing. That's why, like you said, we do that because the world tells us we need to.
It told us that.
Yeah.
It's really crazy because like I never thought my perspective would be shifted in this way. Like I always thought that that's just what needed to be done until as of late, because all this came about, y'all, is simply because I was like, this man can't come back to my house. He needs to take me on a date. And then I felt like the Lord was just like, why not? Like y'all aren't doing anything that is unpleasing to me. Y'all are watching movies. Y'all are talking about me. Y'all are in fellowship. You are getting to know him as right now a brother in Christ. Why not? You would let your girlfriend come over right now and kick it and be fine. Does she got to take you out on an extravagant date? No. But it's crazy, like we were talking about earlier, like rushing for the ring. We're sitting up here and rushing to see if you can be faithful or committed, but we don't even know what your prayer life is like. We don't even know how often you talk to your father. We don't know any of these things. We just want to see, can you be committed for a year to get married?
Yeah. Yeah.
That's
We
it.
were I think we were talking about that on the phone yesterday. As far as like, what do you want? Like, I know what the world wants. We know that, you're pleasing God, but you're displeasing the world. Everybody says this is what you should do. You should go on these fancy dates, and the man shouldn't take you to freaking Cheesecake Factory. Like, there's all these random standards. Who said that though? Because if you're looking for a godly man, shouldn't you be submitting those standards over to God? Why are you still searching for all these worldly things, but you're praying for a godly marriage? That does not make sense.
Child.
There's so much I can say about marriage and like things like that, just because, I've been honest about that. I've always prayed for a husband, but I never prepared myself to be a wife ever. Never. I never even thought about what is a marriage. Do we even know what a marriage really is supposed to be? We know what a worldly marriage is, but if we are godly women, or we're on any type of spiritual journey and we're praying for godly relationships, godly marriages, do we know how to submit over our lives over to a man? Do we know how to let that man lead? Like, do we know how to do anything? Do we even pray? Do we just go to church, or do we have a relationship with God? Because it's the same for women too. As much as we sit there and say, okay, that man needs to be a prayer man, a praying man, a God-fearing man. He needs to be in his word. He needs to be in the church. He needs to be in, relationships so that he can lead. You need to be in relationship with God so that you can submit. What? In order to be a wife, you need to be in relationship with God. You need to make sure you're not just going to church, because the church can't save you. I'm just saying. The church can't save you. And that's another thing. We be so stuck on that. Like, we're not willing to submit our lives over to allow God to build us into the person that is compatible with the type of man that he has for us. We just want him to send us the man. For what? You're not even prepared. You're not ready. And you're not even willing most of the time.
No work involved, right? Having to change all these things because, like, with this dude, I was ready to run. At this point, once the Lord revealed to me everything that it is that was wrong with me, meanwhile, I thought this dude was the problem, and he told me, no, baby, it's you. Huh? I wanted to run. Ain't nobody got time for that, but he was like, you're going to make time if you want to be a wife.
I know.
And it's crazy because, like, even talking about, like, we want a man that prays in all of these things. Well, they're going to want the same thing. A woman that prays in all of these things. And it's just like, be what it is that you're asking for. And I'm just like, my God.
Yes. And like you said earlier, like, that's God's son. We don't think about that. We swear we're so ready for a husband, but you're so focused on what you deserve. What about what he deserves? And it's hard because we're used to worldly men. So I'm not trying to blame us necessarily. We're used to worldly men. So we don't care about what they deserve because they aren't giving us nothing at all what we deserve, right? And I feel like we've gotten so accustomed to being so focused on our needs that we fail to realize that that is God's child too. So God's not going to give him something that is less than what he deserves either. So what are you showing up as? Who are you showing up as? Like, can you be led? Do you pray? Do you have a roadmap of your own? Like, do you even know where you're headed at all? Like, what's your purpose? Who are you?
Because it's even crazy, like when I think about like the type of husband that I want and how I want him to pray over me. And then it's like you instantly got to flip it back. Okay, can you pray over him like that? If not, take that expectation away.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, dang, okay, I'm not going to take it away. I'm just going to grow into it. I'm going to get better. Okay, got it. But it's crazy because we don't think of those things. We just think that a man is supposed to lead, so a man is supposed to carry X, Y, and Z. But what if your man is ever down? God forbid something ever happens to your man and roles reversed. That's going to happen. It's bound to happen if you're married for a very long time. What are you doing? Like, what do you have? Can you hold it down if something were to happen? And I think that's another thing about purpose partners and like kingdom relationships. I don't want to, is interchangeable the right word?
What are you saying?
I don't know. Like, if he's down, I can hold the weight. Like, he can pray over me, he can cover me, but if for some reason he can't, baby, I can too. That kind of thing.
Yeah. I mean, that comes with partnership. That comes with like, what is your role? You know, and that's what we're talking about. Like, we'd be so focused on the husband meeting his role, you know, and meeting the expectations we set on him. But what is your role as a wife? Do you even know? You're praying for a husband. Do you know what your role is as a wife? Because you're expecting him to lead. Do you submit? Are you nurturing? Are you compassionate? Do you cater? Do you do anything? It's like, I don't want to go down this whole list, although I could, but do you, what do you do besides sit around and wait for him to text you? Or you sit around and wait for him to lead? Like, you're waiting for instructions from a leader. What do you have to offer? What is your role as a wife in the relationship, in the household? What is your role? Most of us don't know. We've never even thought about what our role is. We're so focused on the benefit that we get from a marriage.
You know, all this wife talk, you know what it got me thinking about? Tony. It got me thinking about that video I sent you about Tony when he was like, so many of us were praying for a husband. How many of us are praying for a husband, but meanwhile, we just got done laying on our back for another man?
Stop. When I say I was crying.
How many of us pray for our husbands? Meanwhile, there was a dude that is putting his pants on and walking out of our house.
Yeah, we still live in worldly. You live in single praying for a husband. Like, your mindset is single. Your heart posture is single. Your whole life is single.
That man said your husband ain't coming because the blood of Jesus ain't at your door.
Oh, he went in.
My God. I said, that's all you have to say. Like, the Lord be knowing I need dramatic analogies and stuff like that, but I really think that one did it. You sitting up here praying for your husband, meanwhile laying on your back. Oh my God.
You see, you wonder why you can't find your husband. You on your back.
Bro, in the
booty hole brown.
The other thing is pink.
He did.
He said that thing is thangin', the twang is twang.
Yes. Oh, he went in and he was not wrong. No lies told.
Look it up, y'all. I think his last name is Gaskins. Tony Gaskins. He had a thing about women finding their husbands or something. It's on TikTok, so try to find it.
It was hilarious, but he was not wrong at all.
Cool.
His delivery was a little sideways, but he was not wrong.
If y'all don't know him, he's a relationship coach, a relationship expert, and he was basically fed up with these women. But everything he said made sense, but he was just very over.
Hilarious. Yo, it was comedy. It was comedy. Oh my gosh. It's true. He's basically like, you're praying for a godly man, but you're not showing up as a godly woman. What makes you think you deserve a godly man? Just because you want one? No. You're not living a life.
You become a godly woman when you meet your godly man. Just the same way you believe that when you get a ring, it makes you a wife. That's not how it works.
No. You got to prepare yourself. You got to be in the right heart posture. You got to be in the right situation. You got to have the right type of lifestyle. Like, I feel like being a wife for me is a heart posture. Am I ready to be a wife? It's not about whether I have the man or the ring or the life. Like, am I ready for that? And we can even bring that to the surface, you know, like it comes even down to the daily things. How many times do we only clean up our space when we know he's on the way? I think I said shaving one time because I was like, y'all know I can speak surface level. I don't usually choose to, but I can. Like, how many times you sit there and you shave up because you know you about to see him, but you don't actually live like that. You know what I'm saying? And it's like that in everything. Like, that's not your life. That's not actually who you are. That's just who you act like and who you show up as in his presence. But that's not who you are.
Literally, I don't know if it was a podcast or what I listened to, but basically they said just that. They were like, if the man of your dreams, if the woman of your dreams was to pop up at your house right now, could you let him in? And if your answer is no, baby, you was trifling and you got work to do. And so now every single night before I go to bed, this place is spick and span and there's candles lit. Because if the man of my dreams came, this is how I carry myself. This is how I present myself. And it's even like you were saying, like just the sense of taking care of yourself in a small thing of like shaving. I
Mhm.
literally, when I started really going on this journey of self love and self care, because mind y'all, I was battling depression for years. So, like,
Mhm.
small things like lotioning yourself every day was a battle for me because I did not care about me. I
Right.
didn't care about lotioning. I didn't, if I'm to be transparent, I didn't care about brushing my teeth twice a day. Like, when depression sinks in, you don't give a dang about any of that because at the end of the day, you don't care about you anymore.
Yeah.
So it's like, once I started practicing self love, I'm like, act as if your little yeah was about to come over. How would you get yourself together? Okay, let's do that every night. And it has
Yeah.
been the most beautiful thing because, baby, you feel so good. You doing that
Yeah.
every night. You are pampering yourself like that every night. You doing some little scrubs. You is
Mhm.
shaved like a baby's bottom. You is smelling good every night. You start
Yeah.
to fall in love with yourself.
So much.
Whoa.
And I
Okay,
think that's
go
what they
do
mean when
it.
they say prepared. Like, I think there's a difference between being ready and being prepared because you can be ready in your mind. Like, you can be ready for all the benefits, but are you actually prepared to live that life? And if you don't live that life with that man not coming over, then no, you're not actually prepared. And everything. I think about it a lot when it comes to cooking. Because I'm one of those people, like, I can't wait to be a wife. Y'all know that. But I'm one of those people, I find it so beautiful to be able to prepare meals that is not hindering the growth of my husband, if that makes sense. Like, why am I cooking all this unhealthy stuff that's not helping him grow? It's not helping him gain anything, right? And so I think that a lot, but then I'm the first one to run to McDonald's real quick because I'm lazy. You know what I'm saying? Or just pop something real quick and that's hurting my stomach. I know that it's affecting me. I know that I wouldn't make that for my husband. So why? Why are you waiting to become a wife until you get a husband? Why are you not living that life right now? Why are you not preparing those meals? Why are you not starting those traditions? Why are you not wearing that cute little fit to bed just for yourself? Like, well, you're waiting to start living life until you got a man.
Literally.
Ooh.
Oh, that's gonna have to be a whole part two. I feel like there's so much to say on that topic because I feel like that's been the season that I've been walking into, like finding out who is Mackenzie as a girly girl, who is Mackenzie outside of the gym, like who is a Mackenzie that wants to live right now and not wait for that perfect picture when a man comes in to complete it. Like, who is
Yeah.
Mackenzie? What does she like to do? What does she like to wear? What does she want to look like? Okay, let's
Yeah.
have fun building her. Like let's make her. Let's date her.
Exactly.
It's
Put the ice cream in there. Build the sundae and stop waiting for the cherry.
yeah. What does your
Cherry ain't gonna
Sunday
do you
look
no good.
like?
Oof.
What does your Sunday look like?
Yeah, how many scoops you got? If you got one scoop, why are you looking for cherry?
Oh, I was
I,
nervous about this call for what?
I don't know. I tried to tell you. I didn't know why you was nervous. You're waiting to start your life deep. Yes, finding out who I am without a man. Facts. Say that again. Tony Gaskins is wild. Really,
Wild.
relationships will tell you to walk away if you can't hold it down. Ooh, facts. Should is a suggestion, not a word or God's word. Definitely needed this. I do not care about your favorite color, bro. I'm weak.
Right. What is your prayer life?
Yeah, I don't care nothing about none of
Does the
that.
Father know your name?
Ooh, we asking the wrong questions in dating. We asking the wrong questions. We are trying to find road trip partners. What I don't
What is
care.
your purpose? What do you feel like you were called here to do for real? What
We
is your
know.
passion? What wakes you up in the morning?
Ooh, who's
Talk
leading you?
about maturity. I never saw me here caring about these kind of questions. The old Mackenzie, these would have been the questions that came up at like the 13th date or something.
Yeah, I would have never even thought about any of these because I wasn't a godly woman. I wasn't going anywhere. Why do
Yeah.
I care where he's going?
This is day one at this point. What wakes you up in the morning, babe? Like,
Yeah.
well,
What's your why? What's your reason? What are you
at this
after?
point, I'm mature enough to know that we've all gone through something. Like, your girl wanted to be gone out of here years ago. I know we all been through something. What's your story?
Yeah, ooh, what's your story?
Why are you still here? Because I know there was a time where you probably didn't want to be here. Bro.
Somebody said, yo, that's a whole topic. The right questions during dating. We should make that our next live.
Is this something y'all want to keep seeing going? Talk to us. Do y'all want to keep seeing these lives? How'd y'all enjoy our first live together? Let me know. I feel like
Yeah.
this was dope.
What's up? What's up? What's up? Give us some feedback. That would be a good topic, like the right questions to ask during dating, like toward a godly relationship, because it's
Woo.
easy to come up with worldly questions.
And honestly, y'all, that's going to be something hard for me because I'm just now stepping into it. I've never had a man of God ever.
Me neither. What the heck?
Ever. Yeah.
Y'all sitting here saying you want to be in my season. What you talking about? I ain't never done none of this neither.
I want to be in your season of consistency with the Lord.
I like that.
That's what I meant, y'all, when I said that. I don't even know if I ever completed that. Because like I still struggle with, like I said, if I'm not on fire for Christ, baby, I'm not in the Bible. If I'm to be honest, like if I feel like, oh, I'm fine, I got it, I'm not reading my Bible. And that's not the point. The point is you need to continue to fill yourself up so the Holy Spirit has something to pull from, right? I remember I did a Bible study years ago, and there was a verse that says something about the Holy Spirit came to remind him. I was like, the Holy Spirit cannot remind you of something you don't know. So whether you understand what you're reading or not, the fact of the matter is you're pouring into a cup. Yeah. And when you need it, the Holy Spirit goes to bring it out and said, oh, and I'm like, oh, shoot, you did say that, didn't you?
That do be happening too a lot.
For real. And that goes into when I was talking about in my YouTube videos, I was like, the Lord called me to start watching sermons during my workouts for years. He did not allow me to listen to music. And I'm like, why am I having to watch these sermons? But now looking at where I am now in my life, I'm like, he was pouring into my cup so much to where I was going to be in a season to where I have so much to pull from. I have this sermon, I have this sermon, I have this sermon. I couldn't have done that if I never filled my cup.
Yes, exactly.
And it's crazy. I be talking like that and I still don't do it.
I know, because we need help.
I'm gonna do it, y'all. I'm gonna do it. Okay, someone on my side said, yes, I need this topic of the question. Okay,
let me go through. So somebody said, but y'all did make me get up and put my clothes up, so thank you. Now you preaching. Yes, please. Yes, every Friday night. Loved it. What's up, y'all?
Don't make me cry.
Hold on. I've been here the whole 16 hours and I don't want it to end. 16 hours is crazy.
Y'all gonna make me cry.
Yeah, I don't want it to end. We love it. This live right here. Should they put some fires? I appreciate this late night stream. While those are amazing topics and questions, I've learned to love myself the way or more than the way I imagine loving my future husband. That's good. Love yourself the way you want to love him. Come on. Advice for studying the Bible. I don't know about advice, but I can tell you how I began falling in love with the Bible. I started with checking in with myself first. So I would just sit down and check in with me, like see where I'm at in my head, like how am I feeling right now? And then I would type into Google overcoming blank Bible, and it would take me to a website that had a bunch of scriptures, and I would start there. Instead of just reading the first scripture that popped up, I would read that whole chapter of that thing. And I feel like that led me to loving the Bible because I was finding something in it every single time. Now, don't just do that forever, because you don't just need to look up stuff that you overcome, and you need to look up who God is. I'm just saying, build a relationship. Don't just take, but that's how I began. I don't know if that was helpful, but someone said 16 hours with a bunch of laughing faces. What Bible do you recommend and where to start for someone who needs translation? You said you got an NLT?
I have New Living Translation. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's a great version because it makes sense for me. I think my biggest mess up when I first started is because, baby, I started with King James. I didn't know no better. And that's why it took me so long to read the Bible, because since I didn't know no better, I didn't know that there were other versions that made it make sense. And I'm like, send a prayer every night, art thou, all these things. I'm like, what does this mean? I'm not reading this, even though I tried so hard. And so I did it. So many people too try to force themselves to read that because they think that it's better, but that's not true.
Yeah, no. Yeah, I wouldn't recommend the King James to start with. But honestly, if I'm being real, I don't think it matters what Bible you get. I think it's about a heart posture. God can speak to you through anything, so it don't make a difference. But I got my Bible right here. I have the NLT version of the note-taking Bible from Hosanna Revival. It's expensive though. I mean, it's an investment. I'm just being real. I don't know if I would choose this as my first one, but we was in James earlier. It looks like this. It has like the notes taking thing on the side, which is really nice. And then you can just get like tabs from Amazon. But I don't think that it really makes too much of a difference what kind of Bible. I think it's more so the versions. Like I have NLT, and I do agree that that's like a easier, especially just starting out. Don't get King James. I mean, you can, but it's pretty deep. It's pretty hard to understand sometimes.
I like to get me a hard copy, so I'll have NLT, but then I like to compare it with other versions, but I'll do that over my phone.
Yeah.
Like within the Bible app. Like sometimes I want to go read it in the King James to see, because sometimes for real though, you'll go to King James and I feel like, not saying the NLT version will like make things lighter, but there's different power, I feel like, in different versions of the Bible.
Yeah.
It kind of makes you formulate your own tone, I guess, to kind of like put them all together and what is it that you got overall.
Yeah.
Because when you read it in different versions, it does come across differently. And so that
Exactly.
is why I do like to compare sometimes. So I always think about that too.
For sure. And you can see what type of Bible that you like. Like you can see which one works best for you or that you know, resonate with the most. I think it's I want to say it's BibleRef.info. Don't quote me, but I'm pretty sure it's BibleRef.info. The site that always pops up when I type that in, and you can click on what verse you're looking for and then read them in all the different versions. And I started there because then I'm like, okay, I like this. I seem to like the verses the most in NLT, which is why I ended up choosing NLT. But I had NIV before this one. I think my other Bible somewhere around here is an NIV, and that's cool too. I mean, I think it's preference. But anyway, someone said, like Life Jennings said, don't be a nickel out here looking for a dime. I know that's right.
People out here looking for a dime. Statistics.
Period. Want a godly man, be a godly woman. Period. Currently have CSB, Christian Standard Bible. I don't know if I heard that one. You? Oh, well, there you go. There's a solid recommendation. Jackie Green, is that your first Bible? Is that where you started? I mean, I'm pretty sure she said she just got a Bible for one of the first times. I'm pretty sure that's what she said. But would you recommend that for like a starter Bible? Anyway, yeah, everybody that commented said yes, they want us to do it again. So maybe our next topic, are you down for the next topic being questions to ask when dating?
Yeah, we can talk about it, but honestly, y'all, I'm gonna be winging it because like I said, I ain't never dealt with a man of God before. I've been dealing with men that go to church.
Yeah, and I don't date. So are y'all sure y'all won't?
Yeah, I don't know if we're really credible sources because we're not in a relationship. We are not married. But if y'all want us to just talk about what we think sounds good,
Yeah.
I mean, y'all can come and tune in to some girls who's trying. You know what I mean?
Say that.
Who's being open to trying and willing to show y'all us trying.
Say that. Chelsea a trooper for staying up late. I took a nap. I took a nap. Can we do a Saturday brunch lunch hour live?
Don't have me doing that, baby. I'll take this camera and tripod right on over to Neighborhood Gym with me and Mimosa. I'll be in there set. Yeah, we can.
Mimosa's crazy. No, for real. Well, y'all can just wing it. We'll listen. Yes, because I don't be understanding what I'm reading majority of times, and I want to. Willing. All right. Well, I'm gonna be sitting here reading comments. Like,
The people loved it.
yes, people loved it. Thank you guys so much for being here and listening and receiving and letting us even be vessels to begin with. Obviously, make sure you guys go follow Mackenzie. She posts fitness content, faith content, all the things. But make sure you follow her YouTube. I mean, TikTok's cool, but her YouTube go hard.
TikTok is not where it's at for me. Honestly, I use TikTok to promote my YouTube. YouTube's my baby. And we're almost monetized on there, y'all. So if y'all could subscribe, go get them watch hours up, baby. This will be the year of monetization on YouTube, but I need y'all's help.
Yes, I love that. I love that. All right. We will be back eventually. Y'all know I will be back Monday morning at 9:30 a.m. EST. That's it. Yeah, somebody said, yes, I definitely received a ton from this. She put ton in all caps. Someone said, we loved it. Maybe Saturdays will work better where everyone will be well rested. Thanks for this. Definitely needed it. Y'all have encouraged me to put up clothes and vacuum. Period. It sounds like they loved it.
I think we should have one next Friday because I leave on Saturday.
That's true. Is everybody down for next Friday night? Friday night, right? Why don't we just stick to the same time? Y'all down for next Friday, 8 p.m. EST, 7 p.m. CT?
This is dope.
Friday nights with Kenzie. We're gonna call it a Martin. I don't know what next Friday. Yes, ma'am. Yes. Add next Friday to my calendar.
Y'all are so cute. People are like, yeah, yes, it was so good. I put my clothes up too. I need this topic. Yeah, people, let me find out y'all like some Kenzie and Chels.
I love that. They say, yeah, it's cool. Can you save it? I'm on vacation today, so I'm gonna miss every Friday. Oh, That's so sad, Pearline. But yeah, I'm pretty sure I can download. I'm gonna see when we get off to see if I can download the live because if so, we'll both put it on my we will both put it up on YouTube. I get off at 11 p.m. Yeah, we won't be on then. I'll tell you that.
I mean,
they said we love y'all.
I'll be up on the TikToks just talking, so I might be up.
Somebody said that act like your little coming over is stuck to my brain self-care affirmation.
I'm telling y'all, act like your little coming over. I bet you do it real good. You'll take care of yourself real good and nice.
The little is
moisturized.
crazy.
That helped me a lot. It really do.
You don't need no little coming over. That's the problem.
You don't, but I'm just saying that helps me. Like, if you did, how would you do yourself right now? Okay, let's do it.
Exactly. All right, y'all. We hopping off. But thank you guys for being here. Thank you, Kenzie, for being here. And I'll be back Monday. I guess we'll be back next Friday.
Yes. Love y'all. Thank you.
All right. Bye, friends.
Bye, bookies.